Hello, it's great to see you back here for our lesson. 你今天怎么样? Okay, so before we start this lesson, we're going to have a very brief recap on the numbers. Let's say together the numbers 1 to 10. 一 二 三 四 五 六 七 八 九 十 Okay, and of course remember, 11 is 11. 12 is 12. How do you say 15? That's right, 15. And how do we say 20? "20" and 25? "25" and 32? 32. Okay, we're going to be using these numbers today with measure words. There are many measure words in Chinese, and this is used when you want to say a number of something. That might sound a little bit confusing, so here's an example. Let's take the word 人, which we've learnt before, which means person or people. So how do you think you would say one person? You might think that it's 一人, but that's not correct. What you need is a measure word in between. So instead of 一人, the correct way of saying this would be 一个人. That brings us to our first measure word, 个. So you could say 一个人, one person. How would you say then two people? That's right, 两个人. Remember the special way of saying two. 两个人. So you could say 三个人, three people. 四个人, four people. 五个人, five people. And so on and so forth. So remember, this is a very important word in Chinese. Okay, we're going to be using the measure words in today's conversation. But first, let's just recap and learn a few extra words before we begin. Can you remember how to say the word to buy or to purchase? That's right, 买 买 to buy, 买. And how do you say what in Chinese? That's right, 什么 什么 什么? Great. Now we have a completely new word. 苹果 苹果 means apple. 苹果 So using the measure word, how would you say, I want to eat 1 apple? That's right. 我想吃1个苹果。我想吃1个苹果。How would you say then, I want to eat 2 apples? Correct. 我想吃2个苹果。我想吃2个苹果。And how would you say, I want to eat 5 apples? "我想吃5个苹果。" Excellent. Now we have the word 几个。几个。Now we have the word 几个。几个。This means how much or how many of something. You may recognize 几 from 几点, what's the time? Literally, how many o'clock, right? Or when we're talking about the days of the week. Remember, 星期几. So remember here, this 几 usually refers to how much of something. So 几个 is how many of something. So how would you say how many apples? Correct. 几个苹果。几个苹果。Okay. Our next word is 还要。还要。This means still want. For example, you could say, I still want to drink coffee. 我还要喝咖啡。Here we have the new word 鸡蛋。鸡蛋。鸡蛋 means egg. Here we have 鸡, which means chicken, and 蛋 means egg. So a chicken egg is 鸡蛋。鸡蛋。Okay, using this, let's have a look at today's conversation. Imagine that you're at the market and you want to buy some apples. 你好，你要买什么？你好，我想买苹果。你要几个？我要8个。好的，你还要什么？我还要鸡蛋。你要几个？我要20个。Okay, let's have a look at this conversation. So A says, 你好，你要买什么？ Hello, what do you want to buy? 你好，我想买苹果。Hello, I want to buy apples. So A says, hello, what do you want to buy? B says, hello, I want to buy apples. Can you see here how 要 and 想 are interchangeable? In many circumstances, you can use both 要 and 想. Then A says, 你要几个? How many do you want? 我要8个. I want 8. 好的。你还要什么? Okay. What else do you want? 我还要鸡蛋。I also want eggs. 你要几个？ How many do you want? 我要20个。Okay, let's listen to that one more time. 你好，你要买什么？你好，我想买苹果。你要几个？我要8个。好的，你还要什么？我还要鸡蛋。你要几个？我要20个。Okay, now play the part of A. Say, hello, what do you want to buy? 你好，我想买苹果。我要8个。我还要鸡蛋。我要20个。Okay, now play the part of B. 你好，你要买什么？你要几个？好的，你还要什么？你要几个？ Excellent. Remember that the measure words are super important in Chinese, and make sure you make a note of this. Okay, now we're going to have a look at a different conversation. In this conversation, we'll be using this word here, bei. Bei means a cup of. We talked about café before. For example, you could say, 我要喝咖啡. So, how do you think you would say, I want a or one cup of coffee? "我要一杯咖啡." Excellent. So remember, 杯 means cup of something. So you could say, 一杯咖啡, a cup of coffee. How would you say a cup of tea? That's right. 一杯茶. 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 And how would you say a cup of water? "一杯水." 一杯水. 一杯水. Fantastic. Putting that together, how would you say, I want to drink a cup of tea? That's right. 我想喝一杯茶. Or you could say, 我要喝一杯茶. Okay. Here we have the word 牛奶, which means milk. There's not much more you can say about that word. 牛奶. Again, you could say 一杯牛奶, a glass or a cup of milk. With that in mind, let's start our second conversation. Imagine you are going into a coffee shop with a friend. You approach the waiter and they talk to you in Chinese. 你好，你要喝什么？ 你好，我要一杯咖啡。好的，你的朋友想喝什么？他要一杯牛奶。好的，多少钱？35块。Okay, let me break down that conversation if you don't know already. 你好，你要喝什么？ Hello, what do you want to drink? 你好，我要一杯咖啡。Hello, I want a cup of coffee. 好的，你的朋友想喝什么？ Okay, what does your friend want to drink? 他要一杯牛奶。她要一杯牛奶。She wants a cup of milk. 好的，多少钱？ Okay, how much money? 35块钱。35 kwai. Okay, we'll leave it there for today. Just remember, when we're talking about a quantity of an object, we need the measure word. We'll be using this in our future lessons. Okay, good job and get ready for the next lesson.